Hello and welcome. I am Nolin Ebel Ame. We are bringing you the latest updates from across the country, from breaking news to in-depth analysis. We will keep you informed on the stories that matter most. Let's take a look at what's happening on nationwide. Senators in the Red Chamber Wednesday paid heartfelt tributes to the late former President Muhammadu Buhari as they recalled unforgettable moments that shaped their political and personal relationships with the late former Nigerian leader. This was during the special session held in honor of the former president who died on Sunday, 13th July 2025. In the motion moved by the Senate leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, Senate brought to the fore his legacies both as a military head of state and a democratically elected president. Senate commended President Bola Tinubu for the state funeral accorded the late Buhari. Earlier at the commencement of plenary, 4 senators from Akwa Ibom and Osun State, Anakon Basi, Ekon Samson, Francis Fadahunsi, and Olubi Fadei defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressives Congress (APC). Senate also congratulated the national female team, Super Falcons, for moving to the finals of WAFCON after defeating South Africa in the semi-final. To the Green Chamber now, President Bola Tinubu has written the House of Representatives requesting an amendment of the 2025-2026 federal government external borrowing plan to address financial shortfalls. The president's request, signed by Finance Minister Wale Edun and read by Speaker of the House Abbas Tajuddin, indicates that an additional $47 million is needed for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project, which rose from $700 to $747 million. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources downstream is set to investigate the huge financial investments for turnaround maintenance of the nation's major refineries without results. Several subcommittees have been constituted within the larger committee to probe challenges and proffer solutions in the downstream petroleum sector. The Senate is calling for robust screening exercise of local security vigilante as a way of strengthening security at the grassroots, which has impact on the national security. Chairman, Senate Committee on Education and TED Fund, Muntari Danduse, who represented President of the Senate, said this at first biennial training on community security and engagement. It is organized by Senate Committee on National Security and Intelligence, Royal Gate International, and National Open University of Nigeria, now.
It's determined to ensure that security in Nigeria is enhanced to a level of zero tolerance to all criminality and banditry in this country.
In realization of the importance of education in contribution to community security, the institution intends to open up study centers in all 774 local governments of the country.
Because it is everybody's business, National Open University of Nigeria is involved directly and even indirectly.
The security of our community is the bedrock upon which national peace, development, and prosperity are built.
The theme of the training is tripartite synergy as a legislative advocacy aimed at providing structure framework to put in place trained and equipped community first line of defense to save the community. In other news, the federal government has released results of the 2025 National Common Entrance Examination into the 80 unity colleges across Nigeria. Presenting the results in Abuja, the Minister of State for Education, Professor Sueba Ahmed, discloses that a total of 64,578 candidates registered for the examination. Of this number, 61,290 sat for the exam, while 3,288 were absent.
The highest score of 202, while 27 candidates obtained the lowest score of 1. This year, an unprecedented number of 52 candidates, 2 candidates from Lagos State and 50 candidates from Rivers State were involved in examination malpractice.
For admission into the Federal Government Academy Suleja, 3,421 candidates registered. Of this number, 3,141 candidates sat for the exam, while 280 were absent. The highest score recorded was 194, and the lowest was 1.
The Education Department should ensure that all admission processes are concluded timely and in line with the above criteria.
The minister assures that federal government remains committed to improving infrastructure, feeding and teacher quality across unity colleges to ensure conducive environment for effective teaching and learning. Still on education, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, has taken its sensitization campaign on Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, to Orozo and Karshi markets in the FCT Abuja. Kenneth Nanim reports that the exercise is aimed at mobilizing the grassroots to key into the subsidized tertiary education program of the federal government.
The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, was launched on July 17, 2024 as a student loan scheme aimed at providing interest-free loans to eligible Nigerian students in public universities, polytechnics and colleges of education, especially those who come from poor homes.
I'll try it since they say it's for students, and I'll also inform my other friends and other colleagues in school or in work too, so they will try it and see the way it's working.
It is for persons like her, therefore, that National Orientation Agency is having these one-on-one interactions with some parents and even the young people in the markets to ensure adequate information is passed on to them.
You know, they are not going to pay any interest on it. It's after 2 years of service, and they must have a very good job before they start paying. And they don't need any godfather. They don't need any big man. Federal government is going to make their own inquiries and be sure that you are not a big man's child. If you are a big man's child, they are not going to give it to you.
Report by NEL Fund indicates that since the launch in 2024, over 70 billion naira has been disbursed to nearly 400,000 students across Nigeria, with plans to expand its reach to private institutions within the next 3 years. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has issued a stern reminder to all international airlines operating inbound flights to Nigeria, emphasizing the need for strict compliance with currency declaration requirements for passengers. In a statement, NCAA says all airlines must make in-flight or pre-landing announcements informing passengers of their obligation to declare currency or bearer negotiable instruments (BNI) exceeding 10,000 USD or its equivalent upon arrival. Additionally, airlines are required to distribute currency declaration forms on board for passengers to complete before landing. The NCAA has warned that non-compliant airlines will face sanctions, emphasizing the importance of adhering to these directives in support of Nigeria's anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism framework. Let's now join our Lagos Network Center for more on Nationwide with Awal Yusuf Jibo. Hello, Awal.
Thank you, Norleen, and glad to have you join us in Lagos. Since the commencement of the rainy season, meteorologists have warned that states in Nigeria, including Lagos, will continue to experience flash floods. This requires tactical management to reduce any associated devastation. What management strategies can be adopted to mitigate the reoccurring annual flood in Lagos State? Lanrik Belei tells us more.
Whenever the clouds gather to produce a downpour, some Lagos residents are downcast and worried, with many praying for their homes not to be flooded. It is worse for those living in areas with poor drainage and waste management systems. Aggravated by the low-lying topography of the state, managing floods in Lagos requires a multifaceted approach that combines infrastructural development and maintenance, better urban planning, public awareness, effective waste management, technology, and innovation.
The truth is, there's so much you can do in some areas. You will experience flash flooding, especially those island areas of Lagos, because they are by the coast of the states. To the south of them is the Atlantic. And in the middle, you have the lagoons and you have your creeks.
Other ways environmentalists say that can help mitigate flooding include shoreline protection, channelization, better urban planning and development, flood control structures, effective land use, strict building regulations, catchment flood modeling, climate change adaptation measures, and flood forecasting.
There are certain places that should not be built on, and the government should, as a matter of fact, enforce and ensure people don't build on those in these places. The wetlands, these are places that are prone to perennial flooding. So why build there?
Lagos, as we are aware, is lowland area. And some of this waste, they accumulate and cause blockage along our drainages. They cause flooding. And therefore, some people are rendered homeless in the process. It is we that we need to do the right thing. You don't need to put your waste on the canal.
Interagency collaborations and adaptive policy that captures the growing population of Lagos will help in checking expansion of informal settlements in places susceptible to flooding. In Lagos, Larry Belei, NTA News.
We now shift attention to education. As the Nigerian Army strives to guarantee the security of the nation, they remain steadfast in their commitment to upholding the education of their children and wards. Lynn Leneke reports that schools across the Nigerian Army 81 Division have participated in interactive sessions to showcase their intelligence and academic prowess.
The participating schools, drawn from command and our primary schools within the 81 Division area of responsibility, competed in quiz and debate, which gave them the opportunity to express and discover their innate potential in public speaking.
Urban area is better than living in rural area. I would like to enlighten us on the keywords on this topic.
This competition, being the first of its kind, offers a platform for these young people to showcase their talent and contribute to national discourse, showcasing their innate talent and infusing an array of beauty in cultural diversity. The Corps Commander Education, Major General Peter Oguntola, and Coordinator Naowa 81 Division Hajia Zainab Mijinyawa, both represented, underscored the relevance of education in the development of any nation, noting that the competition is in line with the Chief of Army Staff's vision of advancing the educational needs of wards.
Over the years, emphasis has been placed on our secondary schools, with little emphasis on the basic educational deliverables in primary schools.
The quiz and debate competition has not only showcased the brilliance of our young minds, but it has also fostered a spirit of camaraderie among students from Naowa, command school children, and even the Army Children's School.
The joy of the winning schools knew no bounds.
We study maths,
try to pack everything away, but I thank God today I'm one of the best.
The competition had participants from all command primary schools and Naowa primary schools under the purview of the 81 Division Area of Responsibility. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in Port Harcourt after this break. Don't go away.
To Port Harcourt, Rivers State government says hoarding of intelligence information and lack of synergy among security stakeholders is a major impediment to the successful fight against maritime crimes in Nigeria. Speaking to participants of Advanced Defense Intelligence Officers Course 15 of 2025 from the Defense Intelligence College, the administrator called for stronger interagency coordination to combat evolving maritime threats. Osinachi Samuel reports.
The River State Administrator was represented at the courtesy visit by participants of the Advanced Defense Intelligence Officers Course 15 by Secretary to the State Government, Professor Lucky Ibiba. He emphasized that effective collaboration among critical security and intelligence agencies, including the Nigerian Navy, Marine Police, Nigerian Customs Service, Directorate of State Service, and NIMASA is essential to addressing complex maritime crimes such as piracy, smuggling, illegal fishing, and maritime terrorism. He urged them to strengthen information sharing and improved data exchange among agencies as part of innovation-driven solutions.
It's imperative that we harness the power of intelligence collaboration, pooling resources, expertise, and information across agencies, states, and international partners.
Leader of the delegation and commandant of the Defense Intelligence College, Abuja, explained that the visit is part of a field study to deepen participants' understanding of intelligence collaboration in maritime security.
The students are here to learn and engage with stakeholders and intelligence experts to gain insights into the unique maritime challenges faced by Rivers State.
He notes that the insights gathered will inform actionable recommendations for the Nigerian intelligence community. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
Commissioner of Police of Akwa Ibom State, Baba Mohammed Azare, has handed over checks valued at over 37 million naira as insurance benefits to families of officers who died on the line of duty. Kelvin Samuel reports that the presentation was at the police headquarters, Ikot Akman Abia, Uyo.
These persons represent a total of 33 families whose breadwinners died in active service in the Nigerian police. Presenting checks to beneficiaries, a commissioner of police, Akwa Ibom State, Baba Muhammad Azari, says the gesture, though not in any way compared to the loss of their loved ones, symbolizes a shared grief. He assures that the police will continue to stand by the families of the fallen heroes to encourage and strengthen beneficiaries in various ways possible.
The Nigeria Police Force, the Akwa Ibom State Police Command, and indeed the nation stand with you. We'll continue to honor and support you in every way possible. Let us remember that the blood shed by these heroes should inspire us to build a safer, more just society, one worthy of their sacrifice.
Shortly after, the police commissioner led newsmen to various recently recovered items where he called rightful owners to come forward with means of identification for collection.
We urge members of the public whose items like these are missing to please come up with their proof of ownership and claim their items. The suspects that are arrested will soon be prosecuted for the offense they committed.
In Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Nolin for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Dibabari. The wife of the Vice President, Nana Kashim Shettima, has expressed gratitude to the President, First Lady, and other well-wishers for celebrating her on her 50th birthday. In a personally signed letter, opening with gratitude and praise to Almighty Allah, Hajia Shettima expresses joy and delight at the heartfelt message sent by President Bola Tinubu, as well as First Lady Oluremi Tinubu's leadership and team spirit, along with the Nigeria Governor Spouses Forum. Hajia Shettima also acknowledges the immense support of her husband, Vice President Kashim Shettima, who she says is her unwavering rock, trusted partner, and dearest friend. The letter also appreciates the National Assembly, ministers, serving and former governors, and all their spouses, the APC, the Tinubu Shettima campaign team, wife of the former Vice President Hajia Amina Namadi Sambo, heads of establishments, and many others, explaining that the list is by no means exhaustive. And I quote, "As I embark on this new decade, I humbly pray that Almighty Allah continues to guide my steps, and the teachings of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, continue to be my source of wisdom and inspiration." The letter concludes. The Nigerian Television Authority is leveraging emerging technologies to drive digital broadcasting programs and news reportage in line with global best practices. This came to the fore during inspection of facilities by Chairman, Board of Directors of the African largest TV network, Felix Moka. Correspondent Yusuf Jibka reports.
The African largest television network, the NTA, has kept track with the growth and development of Nigeria, building bridges of peace and unity in diversity and creating new opportunities for exploits. Now, this leading media outfit in the country is about to take a different turn owing to the visit of its chairman, Board of Directors, Felix Moka, who toured facilities and deepened commitment for greater productivity.
I want to be part of that story, to work with management, to, again, whether it's equipment, whether it's facilities, whether it's content, programming, we will leave nothing untouched in our effort to reposition NTA for growth and to outcompete even some of the finest in the private sector.
Felix Moka lauded the lofty contributions of NTA in an evolving broadcast world and pledged to pay more attention to staff welfare and professional support for efficient and effective service delivery.
But this is really a call to duty. Some of them work extraordinary hours beyond the call of just regular civil service job. So it's important that they are motivated, properly rewarded for their contribution to national development through the facility of the NTA. So as chairman, I will be working with the management and again working with other agencies of government to see how we can make improvements.
If you look at the contribution that NTA is making in nation building, and also in the sustenance of peace and tranquility in this country, I think regardless of how much that the staff of the NTA takes at the end of the month will not be too much. I know the government doesn't have everything, but of course there is need for us to look at the plight of NTA staff with a view to at least getting close to what is desired.
This visit is believed to begin a new era of surpassing the present gain under the current management led by the Director General Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
In other news, following the recent Benue State crisis in Yelwata community, the European Union has committed 1.5 million euros as humanitarian intervention funds for the victims. This was disclosed during a joint press conference by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction with the European Union in Abuja. Ruth Aguele reports.
They are partners in pushing for positive interventions when the cry for aid arises. These humanitarian actors are once again reiterating commitment towards providing the necessary intervention for victims of the recent Benue crisis that has left thousands displaced with livelihoods cut short. The European Union has pledged support for Nigeria to ease the burden of humanitarian crisis faced in the region.
With 1.5 billion euros of support, and in the term, we are coming with durable solutions in livelihoods, in housing, to help the reintegration.
The intervention is coming timely, especially in Benue, where livelihood was lost. 810 kids are out of school. If we can have an anticipatory response fund, it will help us to respond to most of these issues much more proper.
Also, we want to also ensure you that whatever we're going to do in collaboration with will be transparent and accountable.
There were also concerns for urgent intervention for malnutrition facing children in the northeast and northwest regions, with records showing a burden of about 3.5 million children suffering from acute malnutrition, who are in dire need of actionable solutions as the lean season approaches. Both parties expressed readiness to scale up interventions in meeting the current nutrition emergency through collaborative and coordinated responses to save millions of lives. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
In a related development, Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, has made a responsive contribution to the Yobe state government's efforts to alleviate the suffering of communities impacted by flooding and conflicts. The Intervention Commission donated building materials for onward distribution to 3,000 flood and conflict-affected persons to rebuild destroyed houses across the state. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
The donated building materials are intended to support communities in 30 local government areas of Yobe State that were severely impacted by floods and other conflicts. The Managing Director, Northeast Development Commission, Mohammed Gonel Ali, represented, says the initiative is meant to complement the efforts of the state government in alleviating the suffering of the victims.
NEDC, in collaboration with the Yobe State government, is today supporting these communities affected by flooding.
I would like to call on the community leaders to please ensure that these materials are used judiciously.
Similarly, the Intervention Agency has equipped the Yobe State Emergency Management Agency with search and rescue kits aimed at enhancing its capacity to respond promptly and effectively to emergencies.
Today, with these items, I would like to, on behalf of the State Emergency Management Agency, our field teams, to assure these items will replicate in saving lives across those communities.
The Commission reiterates its commitment to working closely with state governments and other stakeholders to address the region's pressing challenges. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Now, in a bid to reduce the spate of increasing number of petroleum tanker accidents in different parts of the country, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in collaboration with other stakeholders, are embarking on a public awareness campaign on tanker accident and fire in Nigeria. Paul Abel reports that the team was at Ikom, Cross River State, to enlighten tanker drivers, transport unions and community leaders on the dangers of tanker accidents and fire on lives and property.
Ikom, the center of cocoa cultivation and commercial nerve of Cross River Central, is selected for this tanker accident awareness campaign due to recent accidents along that axis. Stakeholders are on major streets, markets and motor parks in Ikom, distributing flyers with the message of disaster prevention by government agencies, transport unions, community leaders as they enforce safety regulations.
A lot of lives have gone because of this attitude of always wanting to scoop fuel. So we are calling on everyone, not just for the fire tanker alone, but even for articulated vehicle. Let's take caution when we are driving.
With this sensitization they have received today, they will be able to
manage the issue of fire incidents at any point in time it occurs.
The awareness was very good. At least we enlighten our people, road users, the tanker drivers.
They can lose their lives while trying to collect fuel from tanker drivers. So the awareness is timely. I just think that we will continue to do this across the state.
The awareness program also gave opportunity to educate the people on causes of accident, which include reckless driving, overloading, lack of public awareness on emergency response. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
The rising cost of rent in many Nigerian cities has become a major source of concern for the average citizen. As urban housing becomes increasingly unaffordable, many are left struggling to make ends meet. Susan Esu in this report takes a look at how high cost of rent in Asaba is affecting the Nigerian masses.
The heart of Asaba, the Delta State capital, and even emerging towns, the cost of rent has continued to rise sharply, outpacing salaries and living wages. For the average Nigerian worker, whose minimum wage stands at 70,000 naira monthly, the burden is heavy. In some areas, a single-room apartment goes for between 500,000 to 700,000, other hidden charges like agency, legal and caution fees not included, while 2 to 3 bedrooms go for 2.5 million to 3 million naira annually.
Your salary cannot even foot the bill of your rent, your children's school fees, talk more of feeding.
Some families resort to living in unfinished buildings or slums.
Let's develop satellite towns. For instance, you can, between Mbolu to Akoko, we can do massive housing estates there.
There is a growing call on government at all levels to implement sustainable housing policies that will ease the burden on ordinary Nigerians. In Asaba, Susan Esu, NTA News.
We shall now be joining Telma Iliogu to speak further on the cost of rent in Asaba. Telma, if you can hear me, how has the increase in rent affected people's quality of life, especially civil servants, and also its impact on local businesses?
The last 4 to 5 years, house rent has skyrocketed by 91% across Delta State, especially the state capital. Residents, particularly civil servants, are grappling with this hike in rent. Basically, the minimum wage is 70,000 naira, which translates to 840,000 per annum. And these people have to pay not only the house rent, transportation comes in, healthcare comes in, feeding, school fees for children, and other needs. So they find it difficult to really deal with this. This not only takes a toll on their mental health, it also takes a toll on productivity. A lot of reasons have been adduced for the hike in rent in Asaba, the state capital, ranging from the influx of people to the state capital and the demand being more than the supply in terms of housing. It has also impacted businesses, especially the local business in Asaba, because shop rents also go up to the extent that a lot of lock-up shops in the market are unoccupied. They cannot pay the rent. Stakeholders are of the view that to mitigate this housing deficit, more housing units should be provided, especially for the civil servants, at affordable rate.
Thank you very much, Thelma, for your submission from Asaba. From there, we'll take you to Benin now, where Udwakobong Achibong is waiting to give us more on Nationwide. Hello, Udwakobong.
Benin. Edo State Police Command says it has rescued 62 kidnapped victims from different locations in the state, with other achievements recorded between April and July this year. Statements by CP Monday Agbonika indicate that the command recovered a total of 45 assaulted firearms, including AK-47 rifles, pump-action guns, locally made pistols and cut-to-size guns, as well as 163 rounds of live ammunition. He added that among the 62 kidnapped victims rescued were women and children, but sadly, they lost one young victim, a 12-year-old girl, to the reckless violence of the kidnappers. And a total of 40 suspected kidnappers, 11 other suspects were arrested for armed robbery and other violent crimes. Away from security, the rebranded Edo line by the state government is to once again resume its role as a key logistical hub, create jobs and support regional integration and economic growth. The line has been officially inaugurated in Benin City. Goodluck Kanani reports that the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, was guest at the event.
The Edo Line, once known as Midwest Line, was established in 1968 under the military administration of the General Samuel Ogbemudia. The company was rebranded as Edo Line following the creation of Edo State in 1991 and became a symbol of pride with efficient service delivery. Due to inconsistency in policies, it became defunct in 2010 and officially closed in 2017, while its 186 members of staff were relocated to the Transport Ministry. Governor Monday Okpewolo, during his inauguration in 2024, promised to revive the company. Now, there are 100 new hired buses with modernized facilities signaling strategic overhaul. Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, seeks more support to enable the governor to do more.
People who keep quiet like this, don't underrate them. Because he knows what he wants to do.
Governor Okpewolo is thankful to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his support and Edo people.
What you are seeing today is a dream come true that Edo people have been in the wilderness for a very long time.
Dignitaries at the event who undertook a guided tour of the facility are optimistic of a more developed Edo where citizens will enjoy life to the fullest. In Benin, Goodluck Inaini, NTA News.
And talking health authorities in Ondo State have stepped up surveillance across all the 18 local government areas following an alert from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, on outbreaks of infectious diseases nationwide. The state epidemiologist, Dr. Ayokunle Orimolade, disclosed this while responding to the warning of the NCDC on the rising cases of dengue fever, cholera, monkeypox, and diphtheria in some parts of the country. Abdul Karim Ahmed reports.
As neighboring Ekiti and Edo State battle confirmed cases of yellow fever and dengue fever, residents of Ondo State say they are not fully aware of the particular diseases, but are taking precautions by keeping their surroundings clean and staying away from unhealthy practices.
I wasn't aware anyway, but the mayor we can take over that is by cutting the grasses around the houses.
In response, the state government says it has intensified preventive measures to protect the populace from potential outbreaks, such as surveillance and response have been strengthened through cross-border collaboration and enhanced community-based monitoring. The state epidemiologist, Dr. Ayokunle Orimolade, confirmed that so far, no cases of cholera, dengue fever, monkeypox, diphtheria, or yellow fever have been reported in the state.
Prevention of these diseases is just maintaining cleanliness of our environment. Keep the bushes away. We are in the rainy season, bushes grow now on time. Don't allow these vectors, particularly mosquitoes, to thrive in your environment.
He also urged health workers to maintain a high index of suspicion when managing patients with symptoms resembling malaria, as some of these diseases share clinical features.
Our health workers should have index of suspicion and commence testing, which has been provided by government free, and even treatment on time.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, had recently issued a nationwide alert following outbreaks of several infectious diseases reported in 34 states, prompting increased vigilance across the country. In Akure, Abdul Karim Ahmed, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. We now take another round of messages, and when we return, Nationwide continues with Nolin in Abuja. Please stay.
Joining us here in Sokoto on Nationwide. Addressing the growing challenge of child malnutrition in Nigeria's northeast and northwest regions requires enhanced collaboration and the strategic utilization of local resources as the Euro support for Nigeria. This was the message of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Professor Nantawe Goshwe Ilwada, during a recent working visit to Sokoto State. Dalhata Abdullahi reports.
Child malnutrition in the northeast and northwest regions is primarily as a result of food insecurity, poverty, inadequate healthcare, sanitation, insecurity and displacement, among others. Accompanied by the European Union Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills Jr., and UNICEF representative Michael Juma, the minister exchanged views with Governor Ahmed Aliyu on ways to strengthen partnerships in the fight against malnutrition through sustainable solutions.
I'm here to ensure that Sokoto State become part of the federal government. The extension of federal government is felt in Sokoto State.
Governor Ahmed Aliyu acknowledges UNICEF and partners for their contribution, for their continuous support, especially in the health and education sectors.
I want to use this medium to assure our development partners in the states that the state government will continue to collaborate and cooperate with them in terms of counterpart payments for the overall benefit of the people of Sokoto State.
The EU ambassador highlighted the alarming cases of malnourishment in the two regions. Similarly, UNICEF reaffirmed its financial commitment of 1.5 billion naira to combat malnutrition in Sokoto and other parts of the country. This is in addition to 1 billion naira already provided and 500 million naira counterpart funding by the Sokoto state government. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's all we can take from here. It's back to Nolin in Abuja for the continuation of the news.
Very well, Asmau Habibu Shagari. Thank you so much. The federal government says it's turning to local government councils in its push to lift millions out of poverty. At the Agora Policy Dialogue on Local Government Reforms, a year after Supreme Court ruling, Minister of Finance Wale Edun acknowledged that the implementation of the Supreme Court ruling remains a work in progress. Musa Abubakar reports.
Exactly 1 year after the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment affirming the financial and administrative autonomy of Nigeria's local governments, stakeholders have gathered again, this time for a critical review. Organized by policy think tank Agora Policy, the dialogue, now in its second edition, brought together state actors, local government officials, and development partners to reflect on progress made since the ruling.
In terms of implementing the payments, and what we have to remember is that it is a work in progress. It is not, sometimes it's not as simple as flicking a switch.
Federal policy has convened representatives, frontline stakeholders for an interrogative dialogue to determine where we are since the Supreme Court was bold enough to deliver that landmark judgment.
Yet the question remains, has there been real change? Have local government become more participatory and effective?
We should focus on what it will take to make a major step change in the way government provides services for the population.
Because of the complete abandonment of the local government system, there is also lack of human capacity.
The policy center has certainly created a niche for itself, for the country.
As the journey towards meaningful decentralization continues, the call is clear. Local governance must work for the people, and that journey, stakeholders say, has only just begun. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
To boost the economic participation of women and support livelihoods, the federal government, through the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, has distributed tricycles to 40 women in Ondo State. Presenting the tricycles to the beneficiaries in Akure, the state capital, the executive director of the corporation, Nike Kolawole, urged the women to make good use of the assets to improve their income and contribute meaningfully to the economy. Abiola Rio reports.
In the face of economic challenges and limited job opportunities, many Nigerians are finding new and creative ways to improve their lives by embracing vocational skills and venturing into small trades as steps toward a better future. For Maria Oluwaturi, a single mother in her late 40s, life as a bus conductor, popularly known as Agbero, has been a daily struggle with an unpredictable income tied to the goodwill of drivers. But our fortunes are set to change thanks to our new tricycle she received through the federal government's Credit Corp initiative.
It will make my life better, and it will make me to forget about all the challenges that I've been passing through.
Executive Director of the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, Olanike Kolawole, highlighted the commitment of the federal government to expanding access to consumer loans, describing them as a catalyst for economic growth.
We've had about 25 financial institutions already signed up with us that we are partnering with this week, and we've given out loan to over 100,000 Nigerians.
With this keke, I'll be able to provide for my kids and my house.
The initiative, according to organizers, demonstrates government's commitment to supporting women and promoting economic growth in the community. In Akure, Abiola Rio, NTA News.
And that concludes. Okay, we shall take a sports update with Bright Ebuchu as guide.
The National Sports Commission has praised the determination and competitive spirit of the Super Falcons after their 2-1 semi-final win against South Africa in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Chairman Shehu Diko commended the team's perseverance and encouraged them to stay focused on achieving their ultimate goal. He reminded them that their mission is yet to be accomplished, urging the squad to secure the WAFCON title for a record 10th time when they face host nation Morocco in the final on Saturday. Meanwhile, sports enthusiasts have expressed admiration for the Falcons' unity and determination throughout the tournament and voiced optimism that they will clinch the championship.
From the start of the game, there have been consistency. So they use their hearts for the country. And they well represent Nigeria, and we are very happy.
I think if they believe on themselves that they can do it, I think they will bring the cup back home.
Elsewhere, Nigerian goalkeeper Maduka Okoye has received a 2-month suspension due to his alleged connection to illegal betting activities. The 25-year-old Udinese goalkeeper was investigated after a surge in betting related to a yellow card he received during a Serie A match against Lazio on March 11, 2024. Okoye will miss Udinese's Coppa Italian match against Carrarese on August 18, along with 6 Serie A games. He will become eligible for selection again on October 19. And finally, the Nigerian Weightlifting Federation is set to implement new bodyweight categories for the upcoming 9th National Youth Games in Asaba, Delta State, scheduled from August 29th to September 6. The Youth Games will feature over 30 sports, including weightlifting. The Federation has informed all coaches, stakeholders and officials that it will adopt the new bodyweight categories as sanctioned by the International Weightlifting Federation. Coaches and state associations have been instructed to ensure that all athletes participating in the National Youth Games align with the new weight classes. With sports updates, Ijoma Pitawante, NTA News.
Ijoma Sports Update there concludes Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nolin Ebel Ame. Bye for now.